Good afternoon, everyone. Respected chief guest of today's function, Dr. S. Kartiyayani, Senior Associate, QC, Microbiologist, Steels Biopharma, Bengaluru. Respected Secretary, beloved Principal, Deans, HODs, staff members, and my dear students, I welcome you all. Today's topic, nanotoxicology and career guidance in life science. It deals with the interaction between nanomaterials and cells, animal, humans, and environment. The current state of nanotoxicology studies, the researchers are still thinking to understand the detail how to involve these approaches in physical and chemical and other properties of nanomaterial influence the interaction. The nanomaterials are developed and animal testing are reduced and computational methods are being increases. It's all important for safety studies. There are ongoing debates about the regulations of nanomaterial. I hope this session give idea about nanomaterials and interaction in cell and also career guidance in the field of nanomaterial. I wish the session going to be success. Thank you one and all. Thank you ma'am. Thank you for accepting this session.
A very good morning and good afternoon to all of you. And I first thank all the management organization, especially the principal sir and the HOD ma'am and other staffs for inviting me this online webinar. It is a great pleasure for me to join us again to the students. It is a long back after I am joining with the students. I thank the whole organization. Now let's get into our topic. Today going to see the nanotoxicology and career guidance in life sciences. Before I get into the topic, every time we'll have to know that what is the history. In the school, when you going to join in the preliminary school, as in the nursery or college or anywhere, if you go, what everybody will ask first, your name, and then what is your father's name or parental name. So everybody will know about you by starting from the history, from your parental. Likewise, when you choose any topic or any area or anything in our subject, we must know the history, from where it begins, how it begins, and from where it begins, and who coined this name, who given this name, how the name comes. So as like today we are seeing this history of nanotechnology, and it started again 2000 years ago. See how long it is being invented. 2000 years ago, the Greeks and Romans used the word nano, which means very small, very small, 10 to the power minus 9 nanometer. Okay, the nanoscale means 10 to the power minus 9. And who coined the term means in 1959, the Richard Feynman. He is the scientist. He coined the term. There is plenty of room at the bottom, which means we are thinking in the room, it is a room, it is one square room. No, there is plenty of room. In the square room, you have many small rooms, like small checks. So he says there is plenty of room at the bottom. That is the main meaning, on there it comes the word nano. So we'll see what is the nanoscale. Think how big the earth is, and from the earth you can assume our football is 10 million times smaller. While comparing the earth and the football, it is 10 million times smaller. And where these nanoparticles are, nanomaterials are 1 billion times smaller than our football. So think, already our football is smaller and it is handy. It is 1 billion times smaller. So you cannot take it as handy. You should make you have to see the nanoparticles in a what to say, AFM, like microscopes, advanced microscope, electron microscope. You might be knowing the microscope in our lab, which you can see the microorganism. But to view the nano material structure or nanoparticles, you have to use the electron microscope. So think how the particle is very small. So these are the some nanomaterials for your examples: gold nanoparticles, silver nanoparticles, and quantum dots. And here you can see one floral structure, a 3D floral structure nanomaterial. This is made up of a silicon carbide, combining of silicon and carbon material. You can synthesize the silicon carbide nanomaterials, and which gives the beautiful floral 3D structures. So these are all the unique properties. Only in the nanoparticles you can make these unique designs or unique structures. Okay, and in Tamil Nadu, everyone knows that MGR, our political leader MGR, who used to take the nanoparticles, gold nanoparticles, like Tanga Pashpam. They coined the name gold Pashpam, Tanga Pashpam. He used to take for increase the immunity and glow in his skin to use as an anti-wrinkle. But we doesn't know it is a nanomaterial, but he used to take. So after comes in the nanomaterial get familiarized, people knows that our leader, political leader, has taken the nanomaterial as a immunity inducer. So it is already in our use. What is the nanoscale use? Why we have to go for the nanoscale range? Already particles are in the millimeter, centimeter, or any meter range, or bulk particles. Why not we use the bulk particle? Why should we use the nanoscale particles? What is the effect? So relatively it is the system while giving the more functionality due to its unique surface area. It has a high surface area with the low volume of ratio. So with this unique property, we can use the nanoscale for many purposes. And what are the physical properties and chemical properties of the nanoscale means? For example, you can change the melting point or reactivity, conductivity, and more strength. The nanoscale particles have more strength. Any material you want to use it for our application side, you want more strength. So these nanoparticles ranging in a small size gives you more strength and more spacious. So it is more applicable in any applications. And what may be the applications? Where and all these nanoparticles are used? IT, information technology, energy, solar cells, fuel cells, battery, biofuels, and medicines. Medicines, the nanotechnology comes and gives you a, we can say it as a boom. The nanotechnology is a boom for the medicine. Medicine field, they are using very wide in the drug delivery or drug discovery or diagnostics, imaging tools. Everywhere they are using the nanoparticles. And consumer goods. Yes, as I said, it uses an anti-wrinkle or aging and immunity developer, food particle, food testing and food packaging material. Everywhere in consumer goods, the nanoparticle has now come and they are using it as a very good. And nanotechnology, health and environmental concerns. Okay, we have seen what is the nanoparticle and where and all we can use. It has many applications. And while considering the health, we have to see the environmental concern also. Why? Anything we have started using in our society, we should think what will be its future. What may be the future of this thing? So it is good or not. If you are going to shop, you are thinking to buy a Maggi. Before that, somebody will think, no, Maggi is not good for health. Somebody will think, no, Maggi is very easy, tasty, and it fulfills our breakfast. It is good only. It is made up of wheat flour. It is good only. So somebody will think it is good and somebody will think it is bad. Not bad, whether it is good or not. Some questions or concerns rises before you buy any product. Any product, a simple daily purchase like that. If you are using this nanoparticle in all the applications, if you are using the nanoparticle in all the fields, what will be the future? The future will be fills with our consumer product. End of the life, the landfills and all the aquatic animal or human will be filled up with the what? This product. What product? Here we are saying about the nanoparticle. If the company produces any consumer product, the consumer will be using it, and the end of the life, B will be the ultimate. B means the humans will be the ultimate resource, or the aquatic system or land systems will be getting the storage of the materials. So here we are considering the environmental concerns. If we started using the nanomaterial for its unique property, what will be the future? So what are the applications and where and all this is used? The nanoparticle is in the biology we are using as medicine. In biology, nanoparticle comes, we can develop a materials or devices for the testing or analysis, nano testing. So what are all the nano in the bio or in our environment? Nano and the biology combines, what will be the effect? So here we get the responsibility to assess the risk and reduce the risk. Nanomaterial and biology combines and gives us many useful opportunities, but while it combines and comes into our environment, we the people have the responsibility to assess the risk and reduce the risk. So we are studying the nanotoxicology. And the nanoscale materials can be synthesized physically, chemically, and it have many structures. What are the bio-nanomaterials? In our biological system, we have many structures in the nanoscale level. So what are the bio-nanomaterials? Are made up of amino acids or peptides, all enzymes or proteins and everything. But these structures are under the nanoscale range. Do we people know? Maybe somebody knows and somebody might not be knowing. But these proteins, enzymes, DNA, RNA are in the nanoscale range. And synthetic nanomaterials used in the applications, in biomedical application, they are giving us laparoscopy or targeted drug delivery. For everywhere, they are using this polymer and carbon nanotubes for the targeted drug delivery. So here, the synthetic nanomaterials used as the biomedical applications. And naturally, nanoconjugates, how we get it into our environment, how we get into the human. So natural organ, the industrial waste or any human waste or our usage comes into the environment. It mixes up with the water or any landfills. It comes through absorption and aggregation. The nanomaterial absorbed into the cells and get the absorption and aggregation colloids. So the third, ultimately we are the bio-uptake. We are uptaking the particles, so it uptakes. The nanomaterial, again I am telling how it can get into the environment. It get into the environment through water system, through the hazardous waste and the resources pollution. So these are all the main consequences we face in the nanotechnology, nanoparticle which get into the environment causing the toxicity to the environment. So what are the consequences of this new technology? The nanotechnology is, we are thinking as a new, but it is a old technology, but this is now the developing technology in the society, which causes many problems. And what are the consequences? This focus on the transport, transformation, and fate of nanostructure. So we have to concentrate on the how the nanoparticle transport into the system and how the nanomaterial transform For example, if you use iron nanomaterial, if you use it as a ferric ion or ferrous ion, and in the society, in the organism, it get into oxidized stage. So oxidized ion gives you a formation of more free radical. You might be knowing the free radical, the term, which is the main reason for the antioxidant quenching, where you will be losing your energy. So the transformation of the nanomaterials, it changes its form, it changes its structure. Ferric ion to ferrous, ferrous ion to oxidized ion. So the fate of nanostructure, how it transforms and where it goes and binds. So we have to consider and see the route of entry and where it binds. So lessons from the earlier technologies. We are telling why we have to study the nanotoxicology. We have many multiple applications. We have wide range of applications, and so we have to think it about its toxicology. Human get many benefits. Why don't we use as such? Why we have to consider the toxicological side? So already we have a lesson from the earlier well-developed technologies, which is our automobile, semiconductor, or transportation energy, or our agricultural part, insecticide, pesticide. Any developments gives us a negative impact into the society, and which already results in the ozone depletion, ozone hole. So we all know any developed technology already invented in our society, before knowing its toxicity side, we have get into the development. So we have got the negative impact in the environment. Now we are in the stage how to reduce. No, before developing, we have to study, or we have to know both the side, health benefit and the toxicity, so that only we can reduce and the risk can be minimized. So we are getting already a lesson from our earlier technologies affects our society. I agree. I have a evidence. Whether this nanoparticle also will affect, whether this nanoparticle also will get an environmental impact? Yes, of course, because it is a particle mediated transport. Because of its unique size and surface chemistry, it is surface chemistry, for example, it is a hydrophobic, so water soluble, and particle mediated transport. Easily it can enter into the cell and transfer into your tissues, and it can enter into the other cells also. So because of its unique size, it has a many environmental impact also. The potential for bioassimilation. What is the potential? How it can assume into the biology? It is associated with many contaminants and direct consequences. As I said, the nanoparticle, if you get into the cell, it can directly get into the biological system, or associated contaminants. When you associated means when you give a nanoparticle for drug delivery or many medicine, any food particles covered with the silver nanoparticles, so indirectly associated contaminants. Indirectly, you are getting the nanomaterial into our biological system. And what will be the fate when the nanomaterials in the aqueous environment? What will be the fate? How it get into our contact? Through different we will be saying of aggregation, absorption, 3 A's. So this bio uptake comes from the aggregation of nanoparticle, adsorption, desorption. This is in the aqueous system. The nanoparticle get into the biology is a very complex system. You cannot directly say, yes, from here it get absorbed and directly comes into my body, or directly it comes into the animal system. In the environment, any fish or any organism, or in the corals, we cannot directly say it is absorbed and simply comes. It is a very huge complex system. How a nanomaterial from the aquatic environment to get into the aquatic animals or any biological uptake. So we have to analyze by the biological analysis. Bioanalysis have to be taken to understand how the particle is transferred and transported into the environment. Here some are some separation technologies which you can use to analyze to know the fundamental transport and analysis of the nanoscale materials. And what are the technology? This is like a small this building is a water treatment facility and a separation tanks. One they have kept in the UK, but they control the environmental quality control. They control the nano material production. After production itself, they are controlling by separation. This separation you can think it as normal chromatography you can do in our lab, or like a particle weight based or the particle color based, like that. Many nanomaterial separation processes are available, tanks you can fix. Apart from that, a unique, particular separation techniques we need. So here comes the new separation techniques, computational fluid dynamics. Computational fluid dynamics simulation, it gives with the wavelength and broad. According to the wavelength, it finds this. Here comes the nanometer. Here comes the what are the particles or bulk particles. So it gives the separation. And again, here are some membrane techniques for the separation of nanoparticles. Already, you people will be knowing something about the membrane separation. Yeah, same like depending on the porous size and permeability, selectivity, and the reactivity of the fluid reactivity, permeability, selectivity. These are the main properties which falls on the nanomaterial separations, membrane separation. Here comes what are the properties we have to note down during this separation. The pore size, high porosity, and the surface area, the nanostructured asymmetry. It may be symmetry or asymmetry, we have to consider. These are the properties which will affect the separation of the nanoparticles using the membranes. So two initial strategies we have to fix it. One is the metal oxide derived nanomembranes and the deposition and controlled template design. These are the two strategies mainly using in the membrane separations. And now in our center, we are focusing on the value added manner. Okay, nanoparticle coming, people are using, and what will be the fate, how we can identify, how we can test, how we can give them results. So here we have given some little value added to the nanomaterial, and here we are analyzing engineering, both testing nanoparticles in the middle. Once the nanoparticle has been prepared and synthesized, one side the biological people will be, biological engineering department will be analyzing. The another side, the environmental engineering people will be analyzing what are the plus and negatives of the nanomaterials. And why should we concern now? Why we are concerning now? Why we have to study the toxicology at this time? Is it necessary? Yes, of course, because the nanotechnology is a rapidly growing field, and the Nano Business Alliance predicted within 5 years, within 5 years, 2025, it will be a $900 billion market dollar. So think of how fast it is growing and how profitable market it is. So everywhere the people are working with nano and using nano. So as I said earlier, if you go into the well-developed stage, you cannot stop using that. As like that, we cannot stop without mobile or without cell phones. We cannot live now. So people get practice days. You get used it. It has been come into the well-developed stage. After the well-developed stage, you cannot say stop. So before the development, while going in the development, we have to go while going in the toxicity also. So it is the right time to consider, or it is the right time to study we have studied the toxicity effect of nanoparticles. So before going to a very big development, we have to study the preventive measures also. As I said already in the previous lessons, in the previous lessons, one example the DDT and how it comes into the environmental consequence now. So we have to consider the nanotoxicity in the right time as of it now itself. And I'm telling it is toxicity. You will be thinking how it is toxicity. So what is toxicity? What is toxicity? Anyone knows what is toxin or toxicity? Students, you can give me in the chat or raise your hands and answer, unmute and answer. Do you know what is a toxin or a toxicity? What is the term of toxicity? Yes, you can impact.
Please share in your chat box, students.
Okay. Students, you have to first throw your hesitations or shyness in the public conference or seminars. Okay, then only you can get more interactions, you can clear your ideas. From the starting up to the now 10 or 15 slides, I'm telling toxicity and nanoparticle, and you will be having some questions. So you come free and ask me. Okay, I'll tell you. For example, now the corona or the virus. It is a simple flu virus, but it has a different structure or shape. So when it comes into our body, it makes us many side effects. For your example, simple example, when a virus, a foreign material get into our body, it makes some side effects. Okay, which means it reduces your immunity, which reduces your body function, which triggers or changes your cells, native body cells. So we are getting some effects that calls the toxin. If any foreign substance get into and alters our immune system, we name it as a toxin. And likewise, where your immunity get decreased, that is the place we are telling us toxicity. It is bad for you. If you take this, you will get many loss of energy or side effects or any problem. Your body will get some problem. That's the term we are telling it as toxicity. Okay, but for you to know the simple way, I'm telling anything you are taking which makes an alternate functions of your body, which means the toxicity. So if you take, I'm telling here, if you take a nanoparticle in a continuous way or any large way, it may cause a toxicity. So how it will be taken? You know, food we are taking directly, or drink, or anything we are taking directly. So we can say, if you consume or if you touch, we will be getting the toxic effect. And this nanoparticles, how it will be, you are getting, how it get into our body. Here comes the endocytosis. So you think this as a particle, how it gets into a membrane, and the nanoparticle cell enters via your cells through endocytosis, membrane penetration, and transmembrane channels. May be seen only with a very small nanoparticle size, which means less than 5 nanometer particles, you cannot see it enter into the membrane. It enters through the transmembrane channels. And these are the ways the nanoparticle get and biouptake of the nanoparticle taken place in our body. And next, biouptake is through absorption. As I said, the biomolecules. What are the biomolecules in the below the nanometer or the nanoscale range in our body? Already I have told you in a slide. Some biomaterial in our body has already in the nanometer or below the nanoscale range. In the chat box, you can give what are the examples of biomolecules in the nanometer range. In the chat box, you can give examples. What are the biomolecules in our body is in the less than nanometer or nanometer range? I have given you in the already previous slide. Yes. See, it is the lunch break time and it is the good very afternoon. People, you will be feeling as sleepy. So I don't know whether you are sleeping or listening. So come chat with me, interact with me. Then only I'll be knowing people are listening. Okay, students are interested. Yes. Okay. No answers. Okay, biomolecules, examples I have said, proteins, DNA, RNA, all enzymes are in very, very small, which are the functional element for our body. There we are getting the attachment. The nanoparticle directly get into their body by direct or indirect ways, and it attached with our cells, within the cells, not in the cell. Within the cells, the nanoparticles can get and absorbed into your protein, into your DNA, where it forms the toxicity effect and forms genotoxicity or cytotoxicity. In the cells, it makes the cytotoxicity. In the gene, DNA or RNA, it gives the genotoxic effects. So, I am telling it as biouptake of nanomaterials can be through the absorption, endocytosis, membrane penetration, transmembrane channels, and through absorption processes. So what are the factors which influences the absorption? I am telling these nanomaterials are getting and contacting with your cells or tissues through absorption. So what are the factors which influence this absorption? Hydrophobic particles, charged particles. Since you are not knowing, or many people will be knowing, or some students will not be knowing about the nanoparticles. So I have told you, I will tell you here. Nanoparticles have different properties. Some are charged particles, some are inert. They have no effect in the any system. Inert particles, charged particles, hydrophobic, hydrophilic, and amphiphilic. Macromolecules are semiconductor conducting effects. Nanoparticles have many properties. Depending upon the properties and the size, the factors also influences. So these are the cellular uptake of nanoparticles. The cell, as I told you, the nanoparticles which have the receptor, it goes and binds to the targeted site, which some nanoparticle will not be having the receptor, and those particles will not bind to the targeted sites, and it will be freely in our body and get into the circulations. So here I am telling, simply not telling it has an effect. So you people, the students, the coming up students and the young generation, you people have to come up now and you do more studies, you do more research to understand the biouptake. Before having experience, we cannot say, before analysis or before experience, we cannot say the fire will burn our fingers. We will be saying, if you touch the fire, it will burn our fingers. Without touching, do you know? Without touching the fire, you may not be knowing it will burn our fingers. The same way, without research or without analysis, you will not be knowing how the particle will be toxic in our society. Anything in our day-to-day life, anything, only by the analysis or only by your self-experience, you will be knowing whether it is good or bad. It have the positive side or negative impact. Likewise, same. If you are developing or generating any new device. People, you may be, um, you may invent, you may identify, you may invent a new technique, a new technology for our medical field or biomedical field. As you are the biotechnologist, you may discover, invent a new device with nano, because the nanoparticle have many unique devices, unique properties, many applications. So you may discover some unique devices before giving it to the society. As you are in the research field, as you are in the coming up stage development, you may discover many things, but before giving to the society, you must go to the testing, analysis, what are the impact. So as I told you, the particles will get into our body and they get accumulated. Accumulated means a particle which stores in a particle tissue or organ. The nanoparticles which store comes into the body. Now through endocytosis or membrane, it enters into our body. In the body, where it goes? In the body, the nanoparticle, where it goes? So here comes the accumulation. Accumulation means it can accumulated in any organs or any tissues. So in the tissues or organs, what is the fate? How the nanoparticle will be? It enters and get accumulated in the organ, and where it will be? What is the fate? It is in the aggregation format. It will be aggregated more. Daily you are taking some tablets. Daily you are taking many food. So slowly, the nanoparticle get into your body. It accumulates and aggregates in your tissues and organs, where it causes the extensive damage of cells and induce the cell death. So this is the facilitated transport of toxin, how it comes in the cell and get binded into that. The absorbed molecules entered into the cell. Here I am telling you is a molecule as a nanoparticle. So substances normally excluded and coming up. So the food web, it follows of the transport. I am telling we have toxicity. Do we have any evidence for this? Yes, of course, many researchers and many scientists have reported the nanoparticle have a toxicity by giving up a example of this aquatic animal, fish, because in the environment, as the fertilizer or pesticides, how it comes first line of the environment through aquatic. The first line of environment of biotic is from the aquatic. The chemicals comes from the industrial waste or any waste get into the water system, where the aquatic animals are the first bio uptake of the particles. So and many researchers have given the evidence, scientific evidence from the using the aquatic animal as a nanoparticle have a toxicity. Their immune system is disturbed. Their immune system, protein denaturation, genotoxicity, the tissue, the formation of the tissue is itself get disturbed. Why and where this is all happens? This is all because of happened by the complement activation in the immune system. The nanoparticle get into the activated the generation of leukocyte receptor and the generation of anaphylactic agent. And these are some hectic. These are some hectic words or the system you may not be understanding now. But this is the main what happens in our system. The tissue gets damaged because of the membrane attack complex. Simply, complement activation takes place and the immune system gets disturbed. And what are the potential effects in our body? When the person inhales the nanoparticle, We are not supposed or compulsory or voluntarily we are not going to inhale. But in the working area, in the industry, or through in our environment, you may be, you without your knowing, you may be inhale the property. So it directly affects the respiratory system lungs and through the ingestion. Inhalation and ingestion is the direct pathway of nanoparticles enter into the body and where the total organ or the tissues get damaged through the inhalation and ingestion. So these are the dark side of nanotechnology. As the nanotechnology is a growing and well developed technology coming well developed, it causes the biological implication. The nanotechnology causes many biological implications. Though, so this is the dark side of nanotechnology. There is evidence and possible problems. There is an evidence. So we suggest this as a possible problem in the upcoming future. But you can ask me any evidence and what are the researchers now. You can see the frontiers in the researchers, the world's frontiers in the researchers. They are in the stage of nanotoxicology study, and they are giving more reports for the nanotoxicity. Yes, so I also assured that the upcoming developing nanotechnology has a dark side of biological implication. So it is the right time we have to study the nanotoxicity. Okay. Yes, students, at least from now, do you have any questions or suggestions?
Students, please share.
I have completed from here I have completed the first session, nanotoxicology. This is a brief. Nanotoxicology is a wide, within the short time we cannot give full explanation. So I have given a small brief. Do you have any questions?
They can't ask directly, but they will be saying the.
Okay, you can give a chat. Okay, yeah, the last I'll give my mail ID. If you have any questions or any doubts, you can contact me at the info. Okay. Okay. In our today's session webinar, we are now getting into our next second part, which is the career. Career is very, very, very important. We all know. When the children get into the school, first the primary, and next what is the career? High school, primary school, high school, higher secondary, college. Is this our career? Is this our career? No, this is the life stages. We are learning. And career, after learning, you are going to set up your career. What may be the career? If you put up a question, what is your career dream? What is your career dream? You'll be having a big question mark and a thinking mark, which is, you'll be thinking, why? Because you have many fear. You have a fear in your mind and heart. You have a fear and confusion. When you start talking about a career, you will get a confusion. So ultimately you are resulting in a failure. Ultimately you are resulting in failure. You are not succeeding in your career. So here you need a guidance. You are studying and coming, you are passing out and coming. You want to get into your career, and simply studying and coming out, you are getting many questions in your mind. You will be getting many fear or questions, confusions in your mind. So you are getting the failure. So first you should remove your fear and confusion and your, your questions. What are all your questions? Ask to anybody. Put up your questions to somebody. Your ma'am or seniors or your fathers, parents, your relatives. Put up your career doubts and questions to somebody. Make your mind free. Then only you can get the achievement, success. So here you need a guidance. After BSc, after MSc, what we can do? What will be our career? So remove your fear and confusion. Get a self-confidence. Be independent. Self-confidence comes when you uh, get ready by yourself. How you should ready by yourself to get into the career? Before a business, you should know, you should have a self-confidence. Yes, I can do it. Every day, every time. Say this word. This word from today, you should take it as a chanting mantra. Daily in our prayer, we are doing some chanting mantra and slogans or some. In any religion, we will be saying this God's name. God's name as prayer. From today, to set up or to get succeed in your career, start chanting, I can do it, I can do it. With the God's grace, one day you will be doing it. You can do it. You will achieve it. So first you should have the confidence, I can do it. If I go this way, I can do it. So you should have that self-confidence. And next, independent. Don't depend on your friends or any relatives or your seniors or anyone. To attend in your college, they will give some announcement, any cultural activity or any seminars or anything. Immediately you will be seeing your friend. Hey, shall we go? Hey, shall we attend or shall we participate? No. Don't depend. Independent. You say your friend, yes, I am participating. I am giving. If you wish, you also join. Together you can do. Together you can succeed. But from the basic, you should not be dependent. You should be independent. So for the career, when you start up a career, you should know, you should get the guidance from your senior fellows who achieved in that area. You can choose your career in any way, professional, related to your subject, or academic is different, and somebody will be have a own business, family business. You can get into a family business also. Before that, you should get a guidance from your parent already who is in that business. The same way, all career is easy. Before that, you should take a proper guidance so that you can have a self-confidence, you can be independent, so you can achieve and get succeed. So today people, you are in a BSc level, and after BSc I would like to give a small guidance. After BSc, what can you do? You can directly do the MSc as a postgraduate. Yes, of course, you have variety of opportunities in the MSc. After MSc, you have variety of opportunities. So directly after BSc, students can get into the MSc. And some people after BSc, they would like to go into the childhood dreams. It is their passion. Some passion, some dreams they will be having. Somebody will be in the hobbies like animation. Somebody will be having hobbies like journalism. Yes, after this BSc, you can choose a non-science programs like journalism, animation, management. Many hospitality specialization programs are there. This subject which teaches you only the hospitality specialization courses are available where you can achieve in the foreigns. Many people are very much interest go to the foreign country. These specialized courses will give you a direct entry to get into foreign and get placed. And the professional courses from the starting, it is in our educational system from the starting professional courses. By the name, it gives you a profession. It sets you a profession. By the name of the course, it gives you a profession. MBA, Business Administration. The name gives you a Business Administration. The professional courses already sets you a profession. But as I suggest, after BSc, directly you can get into the MSc, continue your life science course, and get wide variety of opportunities or jobs available for the life sciences. Life science, what are the life science subjects? Not only the biotechnology, biochemistry or anything, it covers the full botany, biology, from the basic biology, botany, zoology, animal husbandry, food science, horticulture, agriculture, everything comes under the life science. So in the life science, biotechnology is a part where we are applying our technical use technology in the life science. So we are getting wide variety of jobs. After BSc, directly you can go for a job. What kind of a job? The BSc level you can get. BSc level you can get lab technician or pathologist, research assistant, or any industrial pharmacist. Yes, of course, pharma industry taking the BSc people for their lower level QC, QA, for their lower level analysis. They are taking BSc people, but in the future, if you want to get placed or if you want to go for a higher level in the industry itself, you want to go for a higher level, you should have some qualifications. For that, it is needed. PG, post graduation is needed. But some people who come from because of some family situations or any some societal situation, some people who cannot get to who cannot study the PG or who is not going into the post graduation, directly you can contact and you can get a job. For BSc biotechnology people, there are many jobs and research positions are available as an assistant level. The starting salary you are getting as 17,000. I assure you, 17,000. Okay, 17,000 today for me. Okay, so I will stop studying my study. I am coming for a job. If you think like that, it is a bad decision. By seeing the value of money now, the salary, if you are stopping your subject, if you are stopping your studies and getting into the work, it is not advisable. BSc student, if you want get your future brighter, must have a postgraduate, then only you can placed in a very good place, like biomedical scientist, microbiologist, clinical research associate. Very a good job and wide range of vacancies are there for clinical research associate. For example, in one city we have hundreds of clinic hospitals. There people need a research associate, yeah, analytical people. There we need a biotechnologist, biochemist. So after graduation, you will be having more technological or analytical experience. You will be having a more practical experiences. So the administrative people taking you very easily. So what are the jobs available for the biotechnology or life science people? Yes, of course, all the life science courses, the people who are studying the life science, you can get the jobs related to biomedical scientist, biotechnologist, biochemist, computational biology, well developing biologist, of course, microbiologist, biologist in a pharma industry, industrial pharmacist, yeah, and lecturership. Lecturership, you all well know, a very from our childhood we'll be playing lecturer, teacher play. Yes, it is a very good job, lecturership, and immunologist, food scientist, very wide range of job opportunities are available for life sciences. You may know, as this lockdown scenario, as this corona scenario, only the IT people to the work. First step, the people who who are all free from the lockdown is people working in the IT and BT. So IT and BT, now biotechnology is the current technique in the society which is needed. We have wide range of jobs. So how and where we can get our jobs? How and where we can get our jobs? How you will be knowing? Nobody will knock your door and give you a appointment letter or opportunity. We have to go and search. Where are the vacancies? Where are the opportunities? We have to go and search. So for that also, you no need to get a bus or train or something to go and search. It is all in our hand. So use the technology. Use your mobile phone. Just simply Google it, search it. Use this. These are some domains, life science domains. They are giving the open opportunities which are all available in the university in the world level. What are the worldwide life science opportunities they are giving? These are the some domains: Biotechnica, Naukri, Indian Shine College Dunia, Monster India, and scholarship positions where you can get for scholarships. While doing your post-graduation itself, you can get a scholarship money. If you go for a job, research assistant, you can get salaries, you can get money. So these are the some domains where you can get the job alerts or job notification, your opportunities. Thank you. I would like to thank the management, organization, the principal, and the HOD ma'am, biotechnology HOD ma'am, for giving me this opportunity, and the other all staff members. Thank you. Thank you.